I cannot fail to acknowledge the timely and cheering congratulations of His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. President, in his message of congratulations, expressed his readiness to work with the new Ohanese leadership. We salute the President for his kind hand of fellowship at a time when the Igbo have great concern about their participation and treatment in the Nigerian state. This hand of fellowship offered by Mr. President, I believe, will enable us to engage him meaningfully and find an early resolution to our extant misgivings. Ndi Igbo in today's Nigeria face many problems. Under the current federal government, Igbo representation is abysmal and fall extremely short of the constitutional provisions for the reflection of federal character in the appointment into important government positions. No arm of government, namely the executive, judiciary, or legislature, is headed by an Igbo. No section of the armed forces or paramilitary organization is headed by an Igbo. Neither the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, nor the Federal High Court is headed by an Igbo. We know in the history of this country, when a lieutenant colonel was appointed to the position of Chief of General Staff, over and above his superiors, just to ensure ethnic balance. We know when a Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation was appointed Chief Justice of Nigeria, just to ensure ethnic balance. We know when a former military head of state was drafted to run for president, just to douse ethnic tensions. What is very perturbing is the public declaration of Mr. President that his appointments must favor the states that voted overwhelmingly for him and those he trusts, even against the provisions of our Constitution relating to federal character. One is at sea why Ndi Igbo, who campaigned and voted for Mr. President, appear not to be trusted. No wonder he defied the zoning structure of his party and appointed a non-Igbo man as Secretary to Government of the Federation. No wonder the ministries with lean capital votes are the ones assigned to Ndi Igbo. No wonder he nominated ambassadors for confirmation to the National Assembly, naming 3 ambassadors for some states and only 1 ambassador for each of the Igbo states. No wonder 1 year and 8 months into his tenure as president, he has not visited any Igbo states. The president presented a $29.9 billion 3-year external borrowing plan to the National Assembly, which will potentially raise our total external debt to $41 billion in 3 years and raise our debt to GDP ratio from 13.2% to 20.7%, without considering it fit to allocate a single project in this external borrowing plan to the Southeast. The economic strangulation of Ndi Igbo has over time been perpetuated by the confining of mainland Ndi Igbo to 5 states. Every other geopolitical zone in Nigeria has 6 and 7 states respectively. The peaceful coexistence previously existing between peace-loving Fulani herdsmen who headed their cattle with long canes and our local farmers has been replaced by an era of AK-47 and rampaging herdsmen who kill, maim, rape our people, and destroy our farms. Not one of them is ever arrested for illegal possession of firearms. Even those arrested in Nimbo for mercilessly killing our people remain unprosecuted by the northern-dominated law enforcement agents. For the Lagos state government, hiding under the pretext of urban renewal and development, to wantonly demolish shops and business premises of Ndi Igbo all around Lagos. This happens notwithstanding the fact that a sizable percentage of the economy of Lagos State was built on free will investment of Ndi Igbo. I must at this juncture salute 2 eminent traditional rulers in northern Nigeria who have spoken up for Ndi Igbo. His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto. This brings me to the rise of MASSOP and IPOB. Both organizations, no matter how divided they appear in public, are basically motivated by the same sense of outrage and bitterness. Our young men and women can no longer tolerate a second-hand status in their own country. They can no longer forgive the president for arguing before he came into office that Niger Delta militants were meekly treated and tolerated by President Yar'Adua, while Boko Haram was harshly treated by President Jonathan, when his own law enforcement agents literally opened fire and maimed and killed unarmed MASOP and IPOB members. They see how returning Boko Haram members are absolved and rehabilitated, while leaders of MAPOB and IPOB are incarcerated and mercilessly murdered. In their rage, they are becoming uncontrollable as they pass a vote of no confidence on us, their parents, describing us as cowards and compromised.